Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the latest episode of Hunting Talks. We're joined today by myself, Scott, Jamie, and Aaron. Boys, how are we?
Not too bad,
All
mate.
good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good. We are a week after Wednesday, the 20th of May, which will go down in history for Aston Villa Football Club. Have we all recovered from the 3-0 victory over Freiburg?
No.
Still,
No.
still can't quite believe we've done it, but
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done a video yet based on it, and more so because of our schedules. But we're going to look at the Freiburg game and then look at the finishing fourth in the league. Let's make no bones about it. Last week we were all in absolute dreamland, cloud nine. Couldn't believe it. I think we were confident, but still couldn't believe it. But I mean, where does that victory rank in terms of history of Aston Villa Football Club?
in my lifetime, it's up there. It's probably number one since obviously I'm 35 now. So the only thing I've seen us win is 2 League Cups. I can't quite remember 1994, but I remember 96. Can't forget about the Intertoto Cup, and obviously the playoff final. So since I've been alive, it's got to be number one for me.
Jay, I mean, I know it's number one for you because it's number one for me.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I've got to compare it to is that thing that JT lifted in that pre-season tournament. You remember that gold like football cup thing? But yeah. I mean, yeah, I can't quite believe that we've done it. To be fair, I've seen people all of a sudden now we've won it, kind of criticise the competition that you don't get the Champions League drop downs, but that's a load of bullshit if you ask me. I think the way we manage that in the league, which we'll probably touch on in a minute, is superb. And to get to the final as the favourite as well, in a weird way, there's pressure on you in every game. So I think, to that first question you asked, I think, behind the Champions League win, well, the European Cup win back then, in '82, I think, this is the next biggest one. I think it's bigger than the Super Cup. Especially back then, you played him over 2 legs, didn't you? So it weren't just a one-off spectacle. So yeah, I'd probably say it's the second biggest thing. I think, like the one-off sort of occasion.
Yeah, I think we obviously touched on it in the preview. I think for a whole generation of the fan base, it's going to be the biggest. I think you can't diminish what the Europa League is or the UEFA, as in the old UEFA Cup. It's the second biggest European competition that's out there. And yes, you don't get the drop down now, but that probably makes it a better competition because I don't see why teams should be rewarded for not doing well enough in their own European competition. And in terms of the game itself, I mean, we were confident going into it, right? We've got the king of the Europa League, whether Emery wants to say he's the king or not. He is the king. To win it with 3 different teams and to win it for a 5th time is incredible. You can't take that away from him. But we're obviously used to seeing Villa bottle it, not turn up under Emery, really. We're throwing that at the team. But I think from the minute you saw how many Villa fans were in Istanbul and the minute you kind of saw the stadium, it was probably, you had the 2 end fan bases either end, and then the middle section was pretty much all Villa. You just kind of had a feeling that Villa would edge it. The game itself, I mean, it was quite tentative, I would say, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. And then the minute that Tielemans scored, we obviously settled down. I'll let one take the Tielemans goal and one to take the Wendy goal.
I'll take Tielemans. It's what we come to be used to at the moment, isn't it, with these set pieces. I think across the whole of Europe and all competition, we're joint top for set pieces goals of Arsenal. I think it's 26. So obviously you got to give Austin McPhee a bit of credit for what he's done with the group that he's got with set pieces. But it was just a great strike as well, wasn't it? Obviously the way that obviously you two both play football, it's such a hard thing to do, just to make sure you're following the ball and get a clean strike. And I think, say like you said, Scott, before that, it was a bit. I think we were on top without creating any major chances, but we didn't look like we were in danger. But I think it just settled them down And to get the 2 goals before half time, you knew at half time we weren't going to throw it away. So yeah, great goal.
Yeah, I think, like you said, we've kind of become accustomed to summing off, summing up the Austin McPhee's sleeve. I think
You
when
don't actually know how much detail goes into it as well. Obviously, you got 3 players in the box who are pointing at the set piece that we did like the week before, and you're pushing them defenders away to make room for that Tillemans. You don't really see all that, do you? All you see is
And Tielemans comes
obviously,
from out of shot, doesn't he? It's not like he's
yeah, exactly.
already on the
So
edge. Like, he
you
comes
don't
from.
really see all that, do you? It's
Yeah.
just when you analyse it. So,
but the
so yeah.
minute was, I don't know, a couple of seconds after it left Rogers' foot, I was like, go on the volley. But he does so well to keep that ball down because, like you said, it's a hard technique. We could do that, it'd be going over to the corner flag. Do you know what I mean? But to
I
keep
actually think, even though I think it was a good ball, I don't think the ball was actually meant to go there. I think it was a bit overhit potentially.
That's what I thought
Um,
as well. I thought it was
Obviously,
much
that
more
it
central.
was yeah. I think it was meant to be more central, but I think he had a better angle from where the ball landed. Just obviously cut across it into the bottom corner.
the angle itself, yeah, better from where he actually took the shot.
Yeah.
We meant it to be there or not. He does well to keep his foot in Tielemans as well. But I mean, when we signed Tielemans, I thought he's got a good goal in him, and I think we've not really seen some of the worldies that he scored for Leicester at Villa because I think he plays in a slightly different role. But do you remember? Was it the FA Cup goal that he scored as an absolute worldie?
FA Cup final, yeah.
Yeah, the final, yeah.
So he's got a history of scoring big goals in games. So I mean, for him to score, you think back to last season, he scored the first Champions League goal. Yeah, big player, very good player, very instrumental to how Villa play, especially under Emery. So for him to score first was obviously pleasing all round. Jay, I'll let you touch on the Buendia one because we're obviously in like about cuckoo land when Tielemans scores that goal, thinking you're not going to get a better goal than that. I'm going to say that Buendia probably it in terms of the goal of the competition.
I think for me personally, I think the Tielemans one's better just because it's harder. But to people watching it, they would think they'd get more joy out of watching the Buendia one because it looks like a better goal. But like we were saying, for Tielemans to keep his eye on it and then you got the pass from Rogers for him to keep his eye on it and then to connect with it like he did. That's so much harder. But yeah, the Buendia goal, I think it was Tielemans that played it to McGinn, and then McGinn, I think, delayed a bit and played it on the inside to Buendia. And yeah, I mean, we've seen from that range, I think it was Tottenham away, he put it in the obviously not the top left, but he put it in that like sort of bottom left side netting with his weak foot. We know he can use both feet, but Jesus, I didn't realise he could do it that well. As soon as he left his foot, I knew it was in. Like, you get that feeling right behind the goal as well. But he's come up in clutch moments for us so much this season. It's the first goal versus Feyenoord. I think he scored he started that sort of comeback against Fulham, I think, at home for our first Prem win. He got the Arsenal goal, the Tottenham away goal, and obviously he scores a goal in the final as well. He's and probably man of the match in him or Watkins in the second leg of the semi-final as well. So first leg away at Lille, probably man of the match. Got the assist for Watkins as well. That won the header, I think it was. He's come up in clutch moments for us so many times this season, and there's still question marks over him. Like, I think because he has the ability to do things that not many players can, but like as he says all the time, like he can't make a simple, 5-yard pass, but he'll do what he did in the final, and he was superb. Got the assist for Roger as well for the third goal. Bit of creativity on the byline, and I'm really happy with how the season ended for him. And he in the summer he was basically said, "Look, you can leave," and he said, "No, I'm not. I'm not going anywhere." And dug his heels in, and rightfully became a really important player for our team.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my hands up and take a slice of humble pie because I think you said all season. I still don't think he's the answer, but I will take my hat off to him time and time again, because although I probably agree that Tielemans' goal is probably the harder technique for Buendia to do that on his weaker foot. Like you said, he'd done it against Tottenham, but nowhere near to that extent to stick it literally in the top corner. It's a hell of a goal. I think to score a good goal in any game is special, but to score in a European final, no one's taken that away from him. And it's a good story, really. Buendia, he signed part of like the replacement for Jack, bad injury, loaned out. If you had said this time last year Buendia is going to be man of the match in the Europa League final, you'd be, yeah, all right. So you've got to give him for coming back and obviously getting his head down and working hard. He gives us something a little bit different, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He scored big goals, like you said, Jay. So like I said, yeah, you've got to take your hat off to him. I mean, fair play.
I don't like. Obviously, you were saying then about you don't think you didn't think he was the answer. I still don't think he is. I still feel like we have another level to go up, but I always knew it anyway, but I feel like a lot of the question marks in people's minds were that he couldn't even really be a squad player. Like, I think going into next season, say for example, I know you sign Harvey Barnes and Jonathan Rowe, for example, right? And all of a sudden, Buendia he starts the odd game here and there, or whatever, but he can contribute, and he doesn't have to. We don't have to sell him, he was on the sell pile for everyone really at the start of the season, but he's confirmed to everyone that he has a place in this team, whether that be starting or from the bench. So, although I feel like we will still strengthen in the area Buendia plays, he's definitely has a right to be in this squad.
Yeah. Like I said, I think you've got to hang your hat to him and say you've come through adversity, and you've come up trumps when it matters. And if he moves on in the summer, he doesn't. He goes down now. Obviously,
he's in talks for a new contract at the moment, I think.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, him, Esri, and Tielemans, aren't they?
We obviously, perfect time to score in terms of that final. Second half, I think we obviously all spoke our time to each other and kind of said, if you see out the next 10 minutes, we'll be all right. There wasn't really much of a reaction from Freiburg. Still didn't stop Dad from probably watching 7 minutes of the second half, because he was up and upstairs, going to the toilet, back in the kitchen, not watching it, blah. But I think he was in for the third goal. I mean, third goal is actually a really good goal as well, isn't it?
Very well worked. Really
well to hold it in. With the first time pass up the line, Buendia, similar to what he did in the Forest. And then I think Morgan come out afterwards and said Emery's told him he needs to score more easier goals, and really he's done well to get across the defender, but it's a simple tap in. And I think once it went 3-0, although again Dad wasn't, I don't know what Kev was like, Jay, but that we kind of knew then it was going to take a miracle for us to lose from that point. But who wants to touch on the third goal? Because like I said, it is a well-worked goal. I think if you 1-0 in that goal, you'd be chuffed.
It starts on the halfway line with McGinn, doesn't it?
Yeah, McGinn did really well in the middle for that first, to hold it and get it out wide to Luca Dean, who then first time pass up the line, which you don't often see from Luca Dean, to be fair. But like I said, if you won the final 1-0 when that was a goal, you'd be absolutely buzzing, thinking what a goal that is. But it's just been trumped by two absolute worldies in the first half.
Yeah. At first, when Digny played down the line, I thought if he crossed it first time, I think Watkins was 1-on-1 with the defender. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake. And obviously, he delays it, like you said, for a second leg, like he did. And then he's pretty good when he gets into them like channels as like a secondary striker, Buendia. He is pretty good at finding a Villa shirt in the middle. He's done it quite a few times, hasn't he? But yeah, Rodgers does really well to get across the defenders. He actually starts quite far away from the defender. He does really well to get across him. But like you said, if we win that 1-0 and we score that goal, we're still waxing lyrical about how well we got to that point to score the goal.
Yeah, I mean, when the ball went up for stoppage time and it was 1 minute, I think that was the first time we've actually won it. Just try and we've seen good teams over the years before, The O'Neill team was obviously good, 1-0. But teams when I thought were a lot younger that were good, but again didn't. John Gregory's kind of teams that still didn't win nothing. Summarising just a few words now, where I know how good Emery is and what his legacy will now be. I know the answer, but we never thought we'd see the day. Just try and summarise what he's done for the whole club and he's nearly been at 4 years nearly, and just the journey really that he's obviously taken us on to get to this point.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. You think where we were when he took over. Obviously, that Fulham defeat that got Gerrard the sack, and how poor we were to when he comes in. That first half of season where he comes in, we go on that great run, and we end up getting a Conference League football on the last day against Brighton. I think we probably should have won the Conference League personally, but these things happen. Obviously, he's got us to it. Obviously, FA Cup semi-final. Even getting to the Champions League quarter-final is quite an achievement. I was one at the start of the season where I thought, is it time for a change? But obviously he's proved me wrong again. And I think other than probably the managers from the 1982, he's got to be up there with, well, he's the best manager in my lifetime that I've seen. But obviously all-time Villa history, he's in the obviously top, I would say top two managers that we've had, and I actually don't see him going somewhere else yet. I think he likes it at Villa. He's got a total control. So I think we have got a few more years with him, personally. Unless someone like Real Madrid or Barcelona come in, then he's probably got a tough decision to make. But so yeah, unbelievable. Get a statue of him and John McGinn outside the ground.
Yeah, Jay, thoughts on Emery in general? There's obviously been a lot of chat, the same old chat the last few days. Is he the best manager now that Guardiola's gone? This and that and this and that. But just try and summarise in a few words like what that means. Because let's be honest, none of us thought we'd ever anything.
Nah, I think even when Guardiola was in the league, I think pound for pound, I'd probably say he's the best manager because Pep's obviously got his riches. But now Pep's gone, you can scrap the pound for pound out the window. I think he's probably the best one. And his track record speaks for that. That says enough. I feel like what Azzy was saying, obviously he was alluding to Ron Saunders. Like I think at the minute Ron Saunders is in a category of his own. I think he won a lot with Villa, and whether you count the European Cup or not under his reign, because he left just before, but whether you include that or not, he won a lot. So I feel like he's number one, but I think Emery's definitely going to be knocking on that door soon, and I don't see him going anywhere. The only sort of teams, like as he said, if Company goes to City in a year or so, and then he goes to Bayern Munich or whatever, you can understand that. But yeah, it's definitely the best manager we've had in our lifetime, best group of players, and at the end of the day, Emery's the one we have to thank for it, as well as the owners. Them three, are so pivotal, and we've just got to do everything we can to keep hold of him now. I think you said, Scott, slap and give him another contract. Was it you that said it, or might be listening to someone else? But someone says after the final, just surely he's got to have another, contract offer lined up just to, I think he's until 2029, but just to further cement, Emery should be the highest paid person at the club. I don't know if he is or not, but he should be. He should be on double whatever the next person is. Keep giving him new contracts, keep giving him that incentive. And long may it continue. I don't see him going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think now. Listen, if Emery left tomorrow, like Glasner's just done at Palace, he'd go to legend regardless. But you'd like to think that it would be like the start of.
So sorry to interrupt, Scott. He's a Villa legend now for sure. But what I was going to touch on was what Azzy said about Emery and McGinn, the stature and stuff. I wouldn't be against that. I just think they wouldn't do it while they're currently serving.
No,
If that
yeah,
makes
although
sense.
I don't think they will. But
Yeah, because for all you know, Emery, like McGinn has a massive bust up with the fans and leaves. I know he won, but that could happen. Emery could leave on a really sour note. Then people ain't going to want a statue. So I feel like they'd wait until the dust has settled for once both those two have gone, and then if it feels right, they'd do it. But yeah, that's all I was going to say about that.
I think you'll see that, but you won't see it for 10 years.
Yeah, because it has to build its time. Like I remember Pep talking about his great Barca team from 08 to 12, and he said that a great team would still be spoken about in years to come. And he was like, in 20 years' time, if we're still talking about the great Barcelona team, he was like, then we know it was a good team. But he was like, I can't talk about it, but the people have to talk about it. So, if you get to a point in 10, 15 years when people go, do you remember when Villa had, you remember when they had Emery, and do you remember that player John McGinn, and like people are talking about it, then it holds weight. Because for all we love about we love Martin O'Neill's team, outside of Villa fans, no one really talks about that team, really. But I feel like people are going to talk about this Villa team for years to come, and especially Unai's Villa and John McGinn being the captain of that. So if that carries on, I think that's where the statue comes in, for me personally.
Yeah, I think it's now what they follow on from this. If you can now go another 30 years without winning anything, then you'll see it from 2 points of view. They'll be legends because they won something. If you, in the next 2 seasons, go and win, I don't know, say next season we win nothing, but the year after we win the League Cup or an FA Cup, so you win the Europa again or something like that, or the Conference League, depending on what we'd be in, then you go down again even more. Oh, that under Emery, you've won 2, 3 trophies. I mean, we go and win the Super Cup or something like that, then it's another trophy and then the legacy grows and whatnot. So I think over the next, however long Emery's with us, you'll see how big the legacy stands. Like you said, Ron Saunders had League Cups backed up with, and then winning the league and then winning. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, I also think that a lot of people don't, obviously outside of Villa see that team of players was still mostly the team when Dean Smith was there. He hasn't really brought many players in. He's just made players better.
Yeah, that's
You've
a true
7
point.
or 8 players, haven't we, from like the Dean Smith era where he's kept and they've just gone up a level.
If you look at his first game against United, that whole back line, bar Mings, including the goalie, you've replaced Mings Mings for Torres, exact same back five. You've got like Dougie's still there, Watkins is there, Buendia's starting. Bailey's there. It's like you just change a few players. Obviously, it's more than that, but
the other well, which I don't think has been mentioned enough in the wider media, that he done it on the lowest net spend of the whole Premier League this season, which reason is not getting spoken about. Also, the fact that he's up for Manager of the Year is crazy.
That's all political, though, isn't it? Like it's like Bruno again, Player of the Season. He's had a good season, but everything's political. It's like the bloody the Grammys, isn't it, for singers? It's all just politicals. Like it's not. It never gets given. It just gets given to the whoever wins the league. Okay, you're going to get Manager of the Year. Like it's a load of bullshit, really. Like you look how well Sunderland and Bournemouth have done. Like they don't get a mention.
If Arteta goes and wins the Champions League, then I take him out and say, listen, fair play. He would be Manager of the Year. He's won the hardest league and the hardest. But for Emery not to be in the conversation is ludicrous. But anyway, we know our thoughts on that.
And that net spend, I think, was at 25 million. And I think 18 million of that was for Gesson to loaned out in January. So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. First ever player to win 2 European trophies in the same season. Who would have thought, eh?
Well, not me. We obviously then play City after. We'll just touch on City and just kind of look at how we finish the season. If you had said we'll beat Liverpool after that Spurs game, if you had said we beat Liverpool, or you beat Forest, beat Liverpool, beat Freiburg and beat Man City, you probably would have laughed because of how bad we were at Tottenham. But, I mean, for the first 45 minutes, I think we were still drunk. And then Ollie just thought, you know what, I'm going to play a little bit here. Firstly, what do we make of the guards of honour that we gave to Bernardo Silva and John Stones? Because I personally, I think they're legends of the league. But what do you two make? Is that a yes or a no?
No, it's a no. Absolute bollocks.
Jay?
Okay,
well, that's enough of that one then. Match though, obviously it meant we finished fourth. We were in the 5 points clear in Liverpool. 19 wins out of 38 games, 11 defeats, 8 draws. Goal difference again. Our goal difference never seems to be good, +7. But in the end, we finished 8 points clear of Bournemouth that were in 6th and 11 points clear of 7th. They've obviously qualified for Europa League. And we were 12 points clear of Brighton that qualified for the Conference League. 6 points off United. And for 1 point in the season, the title charge, 20 points off Arsenal.
If we have Kamara fit, by the way, that title charge would have been on for much longer, I'm telling you.
If buts and maybes, isn't it? But looking back at our predictions at the start of the season, one of us said Villa 4th.
I think I said 6th, didn't I?
I said 3rd.
Did you not say 4th, Aaron?
Did I say 4th? Can't remember.
I think you said 3rd and then changed it to 4th.
Well, there you go then.
I think Jay said 6th and I said 5th, I think.
Well, mate, I thought you were saying it because you put them 4th.
So did I. If you go through all our predictions, I think I was the closest in the league table. You two had Sunderland near the bottom. I had them up there.
Sunderland, Forest, Everton. No, Everton were like 13th ended, so you weren't right on that one.
We'll look at that in the next one because we're going to do a season review. But summarise, finishing 4th again. That's under Emery now. That's 7th, 4th,
5th,
6th and 4th. Yeah,
6th and 4th. Yeah.
If you had said that, 10 years from being on the Championship, that's pretty somehow in that. But we obviously had a bad start, had an incredible run, stop-start, and then we haven't trickled over the line, but 2 big wins at the end obviously saw us through. But just quick thoughts on how we finished the season, finishing 4th. It's a good achievement, that, with obviously winning the Cup as well.
Yeah, we don't normally seem to finish the season that great, do we, under Emery, the last couple of seasons? And obviously quite a few of us were saying we need to make sure before the last 2 games the top 4 is secured. But yeah, to go comfortably beat Liverpool, I know we conceded 2 goals, but it was a comfortable win for us. And then obviously, like you said, the Man City game, first half, especially when Maatsen goes to kick a ball and absolutely misses it, you're thinking, oh my God, it's going to be one of them days, isn't it? And then obviously they concede the goal. And will just say, Garcia's shit, but I'll carry on. To concede the goal going at half time, and like you said, Ollie Watkins, and let's talk about that second goal. I don't think it got talked about enough. What a goal! Like how quick were his feet. But yeah,
and by the way, that's the centre half that's going to the World Cup. That's supposed to save this nation. Do you know what I mean? Like, give it a run.
Nah, I got Konza, mate.
People are putting him above Isri, by the way.
No, no.
I'd have no issues having John Stones at Villa.
Back up, yeah.
No, but he shouldn't be going to the World Cup, really, should he? Let's be real.
As well. We don't have time for that now.
So yeah, obviously last 2 Premier League games, beating Liverpool, beating City. You couldn't ask for a better end to the Premier League and obviously a better end to our European journey.
Yeah, Jay, just your quick thoughts on how we finished the season and 4th.
Yeah, really well. I feel like we managed the minutes of certain players really well. You get the whole like green, amber, and red zone now, so you know when players are like suffering a bit, and you can see the difference in class between us and Newcastle. And whenever Newcastle in Europe the following season, while they're there, they're mid-table. Same happened with them this year. They can't, like Eddie Howe can't juggle it. Whereas you get Emery that's spent less and managed to consistently put us in those top places in the league. So yeah, finished really strong. And yeah, I feel like we're scoring goals and creating so many chances. Like, Forest at home in the second leg, Burnley away. So 4 goals, 2 goals, and 4 against Liverpool, which we should have had more than that. 3 against Freiburg, and then 2 against City. When you look at it, really, that second half we could have got more. 2-1 is a bit light. Bailey Bailey got in some good positions, and And yeah, it was nice, seeing us. First time I thought, under Emery that everyone has definitions of like what they call like a good team, but like I feel like now we are. Depends what happens in the summer, who we bring in or lose or whatever. But this is the first time under Emery that I've thought that we are a serious team, and what I mean by that is we can go anywhere and compete. What last season when we were away at PSG, I was like, okay, let's just try like not hold five. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like if we were to play PSG in the Super Cup, I'd be quietly confident. Not like obviously we'd be underdogs, of course, but the team we've got, how long they've been together, you get a couple more players in there, you can really elevate to the next level. So yeah, the finish to the season made me think that this is a serious team we're watching, a team that, given the right, no one get on it. I know injuries happen, but if Kamara, McGinn, Tielemans, they stay fit, we can compete higher up this league. We're not just settling for Champions League. We can, whether it even be a title push, which we were doing this season. We only done it for half the season, but who says we can't do it for the whole of next season?
Yeah, I think really you just got to think, what a man, what a club, what a fan base. Just
Yeah,
incredible,
100%.
really, which will stay for each and every supporter for memories for life, really. So, yeah, what a season. We're going to do a season review for the whole league, but in terms of Villa, what a way to end it. And like I said, what a season. Couldn't have asked for any more, boys, really, could we? I mean,
Perfect.
it's a season in our lifetime, so you can't play that down. We are going to finish with. Is this the last quiz?
It's the last quiz of the season, yes.
All right, so we'll do the last 10 minutes of the quiz, and yeah, I'll hand over to Azzy.
Right. I did try explaining it to you before we began, but for people out there, Scott is currently on 78, Jamie is on 64, so that's 14 points difference. I've got 3 categories to give you. I'm also going to give you a number. I need you to give me 3 players and get as close to that number as possible. If you get it bang on, I'll give you 10 points. And if you're within 5, you get 5 points. Anything else, we start taking points away from your score. Whoever has the highest score at the end is this season's champion. So the first category is Premier League appearances, and you need 250 appearances between 3 players.
Is this solely Villa? Yeah.
No, Premier League, anyone.
Okay.
250, and I need your 3 names before I give you the score. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to think of 3 players. 250 is the number.
I was going to say Premier League appearances.
The third time, yes.
Okay, Premier League. Yeah.
Scott, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to stick to Villa, so I'm going to say, because he scored, Emi Buendia.
Yeah, I need all 3 before I give you your answers.
Fucking hell. Emi Buendia. Dela Cruz. Dad's Dela Cruz.
Dela Cruz, eh?
Let me try and work this out. He must have played about. And I'll go John Duran.
John Duran. John Duran. Jay?
Was it 250?
250, yeah.
I'm gonna go a bit weird on this one. I'll go for Tyrone Mings.
Yeah.
I'll go for Garcia.
For Villa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll go for. And I'll go for Robin Olsen.
Robin Olsen. You're both going down the Villa route.
Who are your three?
Robin Olsen,
Olsen,
Garcia, and Mings.
I think I left it a bit light, but
Hey?
So Scott Buendia 157, De La Cruz 104, and John Duran 55.
You've done better than I have.
Gives you a total of 316. So you are 66 out. So your current score is your 12. Jamie Mings 189. Garcia 12 and Olsen 21. So that gives you a total of 222. So you are only 28 out.
Okay.
So you are currently on 36 and you're in the lead, 36-12.
Okay.
Right, next appearance is England caps. And my number is 100 between three players. Scott, you are trailing by 24 points after taking a commanding lead into this.
I'll let Jake. Can Jay go first?
Yeah, Jamie can go first in this one. 100 caps for England. I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it, Jay.
What are you looking at, Scott?
No, I'm just writing it down. I'm trying to think it, write it down.
$100
Jay?
caps.
100 caps, three players.
I'll go for. I think he's just below. I'll go for Carl Walker.
Yep.
Gabby Agbonlahor.
Oh, Gabby. Gabby. Bonner.
And Ricky Lambert.
Ricky Lambert. It's a rogue one, isn't it?
Yeah. Go on then. Pressure Scotty to answer then.
Scotty.
Rashford.
Oh!
Marcus Rashford.
Sancho.
Oh!
he's going all former Villalone, isn't he?
Don't say Saka.
Who's your second? Rashford, Sancho, and Ezri Konza.
Should I go Mings?
No, you said Ez.
I'll go Ezri.
Take your first answer, I'm afraid, which is Ezri Konza. Right, Jay. Walker, 96.
But I say I thought, so that should put me on 98.
Gabby had 3, which puts you on 99.
I thought he had 1.
And Ricky Lambert has 11.
What? I thought he had 1. Oh, no.
According to my stats, he has 11.
He scored on his debut, and I thought he only had the 1 cap.
So that puts you on 110. So 10 points are coming off your score. No. So you're currently on 26. Scott Rashford 70. Sancho 23, which is 93. And Konza is 18. So 111. So Jamie beat you by 1 point there. So take 11 points off your score. The current scores going into the last round is Jamie 26, Scott 1.
I think Ezri touch on Esri, to get 18 caps in the space of when he made his debut, because he only made it against Brazil.
He started
Brazil in the Premier League.
and he's played a lot of games since.
He's played the most minutes since Tuchel's come in, I'm pretty sure.
Right, and to finish off the last one, I'm looking for 300, and I want Aston Villa appearances, which could be Premier League, Championship, Cups.
All in, yeah.
And I would take an answer of individuals. So Scott will give me one, Jamie will give me one, and so on, to save you.
All right.
Scott, you are trailing by 25 points.
So what's the
300 Aston Villa appearances. I want 3 players.
fucking hell? And we're doing all competitions.
Yep. Yeah. So it could be back in 1982. That's one name for now.
Darius Vassell.
Darius Vassell. So you're looking for 300. Yep. Jay, your first one.
I'll go for Emi Martinez.
Emi Martinez. Scott.
I think Vassell's high, so I'm going to go Lindelof.
Lindelof. Jay?
Tielemans.
Yeah, and Scott, your last one.
What, and this is all competitions?
Yep.
I'll go Freddie Boomer.
Wilfred Boomer.
I could be well out here, but okay.
It's the joys and joys of the game. Jay? Rashford.
Yeah.
Let me have a look how many games he played.
Don't know if he made 10, I thought he'd done 9. It might have just been the Prem he done 9, though. But I have a feeling he only played 9 games. That might have been just Prem. I don't know.
Let me just work out the final scores. Right.
Who did you say, Joe?
Martinez, Tielemans, Rashford. Right, so Scott Vassell, you gave me first, was 162.
That can't. He must have played more than that.
162. I can verify it.
All competitions.
All competitions.
If you go on Wiki, it's just there.
Actually, I will change that because I looked at the wrong number. Let me work this out again.
Have you looked at the wrong number for everyone?
No.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not that stupid, mate.
I don't know. Sweating my fucking tits off.
That didn't really make much of a difference anyway.
What was the difference?
201.
Well,
That's a lot.
Victor Lindelof 28. Wilfred Boomer 90. So you scored 318. So you were 18,
so
18
really
off.
good.
You are currently on 1, so you're now on minus 17.
I think I shot over on this one.
Jamie, Emmy Martinez has made 213 appearances for Aston Villa. Yuri Tillemans 93.
Oh,
And Rashford made 17 in all competitions.
I thought it was 9. That must be just Prem.
Giving you a total score of 323.
I done it, Joe.
So you finish on 3 points. So Jamie is this season's quiz master. Jamie 3, Scott -17.
I mean, how can you have that many points on the last one?
Donate the player.
Jamie, great comeback. Best comeback I've seen in a while, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers, mate.
No, well done, Joe. Right, that'll do. We'll be back
Good.
for season review for the 20.
Jamie can be quizmaster next season. That's me done for quizzing.
I guess that's settled then.
Congratulations, that is your prize.
Didn't agree to it, by the way, so.
We'll be back. Leave your comments on the season and Europa League win and whatnot. Yeah, we'll be doing a few different episodes over the next few weeks, so stay tuned. And thanks for watching. And the only thing that's left to say, up the Unite, up McGinn, up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up Victor Lindelof. Whoop, whoop.